So in this video I'm going to be talking about the parable of the bags of gold. So this is in Matthew chapter 25 and it's from verse 14. So I'm going to start. So it says, "Again it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. So also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. 'Master,' he said, 'you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained 5 more.' His master replied, 'Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share the master's happiness.' The man with 2 bags of gold also came. 'Master,' he said, 'you entrusted me with 2 bags of gold. See, I have gained 2 more.' His master replied, 'Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness.' Then the man who had received 1 bag of gold came. 'Master,' he said, 'I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathered where you have not scattered seeds. So I was afraid and went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you.' His master replied, 'You wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed? Well, then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers, so that when I returned I would have received it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever has will be given more, and they will have abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." So what does this parable mean? So God gives us the ability. So he gives us the ability, the skill to share, the skills that he's given us. He expects us to share with other people. He doesn't expect us to keep all the glory to ourselves, and basically this is what this parable is about. So when it came to the last servant who was too scared, even though God, because in this parable, the person is God who's given out these talents, which these talents, well, in the New King James is called talents. I'm reading from the NIV, but basically gold. So that gold is all the skills that God's given you to apply. So even though God has given that to this servant, fear took over him. And even though God literally gave him the ability, the skill, the money to multiply his kingdom, fear unfortunately took a hold of him, which sometimes does happen. That fear does take sometimes takes control. But the idea is, when God gives us these gifts, he gives us our gifts to share with other people. It's not to keep to ourselves, it's to share with other people. The whole idea is God gives us when we accept Jesus into our life. He gives us the resources to expand the kingdom, because at the end of the day, the idea is not to keep, this isn't like a big secret, like hush hush, this isn't some weird, like, secret society where, only certain people are allowed in. Everyone is allowed in, but how can people, you know, be allowed in if they don't know anything about, the gospels and stuff? So that's why it's our job to share it out to the world, so they will know, and then they will accept, and then God's kingdom expands. But when you keep all the, all the fruit that God gives us, when you keep it to ourselves and we don't share it, that's when it becomes, a problem, and the kingdom cannot grow. So that is basically the whole point of this of this parable is, don't be afraid. Like, God will use you, and use what you, to the best of your ability, if that makes any sense. Like, he won't chuck you in the deep end and and you don't know what to do and stuff. He'll slowly he will use you in many different ways. Sometimes you may feel that He'll use you in the slightest way that you may not even notice. But at the end of the day, God will use you to build his kingdom. And just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. God's not going to chuck you into the deep end. He's not going to chuck into the deep end. But it's really important that you do share and not keep it to yourself. Because as I said, the whole mission is to build this kingdom. Because from the very beginning, you know, the devil, unfortunately, he ruled over when Eve and Adam sinned, and from since then it's been, you know, grabbing the people, bringing the people back into God's kingdom.